Hi all, thank you for listening my presentation. I'm going to share my project, Better Go with you, which purpose is to make Golang great again. And here is something about me. I have been a wide contributor when I am in university. Though I am writing Golang in my job now for Shopee, but I am a big fan of Elixir. I use it in my last company, Alibaba Games, and I use it to write game middleware for Tapicairu Chinese version of Alibaba and 618 games for Taobao. It is a small games platform. Okay, let's start. And here is the things I want to talk. People didn't really distinguish problem and solution. So I will explain what's my problem and why am I doing this in the presentation. There are 6 parts in my speech. The first thing is why we need this project. And is there anything we can use? Why we need ours? And the fourth part is how to do this. There are many methods can do the generic and dive into the method I choose. The last part is FAQ. So the first part is why we need. How do you remove an element in integer slice? And here is a method. It is the fast one. The order is not important. And if you want to remove an element in string slice, you will write another code. It is almost the same as the last one. If we want to write a generic remove function in Go, the first method we will use is to use an empty interface. And this one is the interface version. Delete an element in a slice. If this one is good, you can use it in many versions, but it is slow. One of the co-authors of Golang, Rob Pike, had tried this method too, but at last he gave up. You can see his comments in README. He wants to see how hard it is to implement this sort of thing in Go. With a nice API, he could manage. One of the co-author of Golang, Rob Pike, had tried this. You can see the GitHub page. It is still there. Almost 500 stars. And at last he gave up, and he also said that you shouldn't use this version. It is slow. He had to try writing reduce and map. Since only reduce. So what is another method to write generic? It is Win. Win is the best way to write generic in Go 1. So that's why we need generic. You may not need in your business code in CRD, but some basic library needs that. For example, map, reduce, flat, zip, any, all these functions, and something in slice, find, delete, max, minimum, and group by. There are many library functions, which is less in Golang now because no generic. And when I write this project, I'm not sure when Go to generic arrive and can be used in production. So is there anything we can use? Maybe we can copy and paste from GitHub or Stack Overflow. At that time, I cannot find one suitable tool at that time, and I only found another language, Go+. It is another Go grammar, and it is compatible with Go language, but he needs to write his interpreter and his compile tools. It needs long-term and full support for IDE and Go build tools, etc. So I cannot find one tool at that time to do the things I want. And I only found another language named Go+. It is a static type language and compatible with Golang, and it is also SQLite. You can use a interpreter to use that language and use a compiler to compile it to Golang like binary. But I don't want this type of tools, and I don't, because it needs long-term support, and it needs to do something for the IDE different, because it has different grammar for, and it needs you to write another build tool. And it also requires you that has many influence, so you can convince people to use this. So I decided to invent the tool. My target is that the tool is compatible with Go grammar and with high performance and rich library functions. And how to develop this monopolization? It means generating specification versions of generic functions. For example, like C++ template. If you had used C++, you must use C++ template for some kind of functions like stack data structures, queue data structures, vector, etc. And this code is a usage of template. For those who don't familiar with C++, you can see the brace integer of get mass. It is a specific type integer and long, and it will replace the T type and generate a specific version of get mass. For example, integer get mass and long version get mass. So that's what I want to do in Golang. Implement it, and this is code generation, because we don't want to change Golang's grammar and compile tool. C++ will not generate the code, but will generate a section for function. It is in the binary, but it doesn't matter. So for the users who use this tool, I want to provide a anti-interface version for them, so that they can use it in their code without any changes. And it can use our tool to generate the specific version function for them. And I will also replace his original call in the code. And he can directly compile it and release the binary. That one without specific function and no interface. So let's get into it. Doing this is like put an elephant into a refrigerator. The only thing we just need to do is that write interface version functions, and you do the code generation for specific function. And you can see how this is implemented. This is a pull request of making a map function. And the right part is writing an interface version of map. You can see this reflect get the type of slice and get the type of the function and reduce it and map the function with every element and change it. This is the interface version and package provide to the user. User can directly use it in their code and comply, and everything works well, except the performance cost. And to implement the function like this, you need to also write a generic template. Here is the map template. I will record the parameters as argument name 1 and argument name 2. In the map, in the map, in the map grammar, the first argument is the slice. The second argument is the function. The function used in the slice every element. So here is how to use it. I just got the length of every of the slice and use the function argument name 2 to every argument I. So this is the specific version of the code. I will generate a code like this, and behind is the specific parameters of the function. I will record it in another code. When I look the user's code file, I will record how many functions are there, how many parameters are there, and record them so that when you generate the code, I can know all the variable types. I will dig into this later. You can see here, this is a function declaration. I will remember the function name, parameters, type declaration, and the function body. The function body is generated in here. Okay, I will explain them later. And this is how a user use this tool, and they can just use the interface version in their code, and everything works well. Like here, the file function is the interface version, and people can use it directly and compile and test everything works well. And then he can use our tool to do the code generation for specific word function, and then release the binary. And here is the example I made to use this tool. For example, this is a user how to use our tool. For example, this is the package I provided. So you can use it like this and this. And after finish the code and everything works well, you can just install our tool, our binary, and then use it to select the file to generate. So after this, I will generate a specific version in this directory. I will show you later. And at last, it can directly compile. Yeah, this is how this. Here's something about how I do it. At first, I will look every file in the user's code and analyze it using the package AST, Golan's AST package. AST can analyze each element. For example, there are basic declarations like import constant declaration, variable declaration, type declaration, and assignment statement, function declaration, type assertion, expression, call expression. And I can according to the function declaration and call expression to know the user is using the enumerable package, using my package, so that I can, according this package, to record all the variables and types, and then generate a specific function for them. For example, this is the AST operation. You can see I just make sure that this expression is a function called expression, and I get its name, its function name, and I to judge that whether its function name contains my keyword in new. And then I will get its function declaration, like the new function name, function declaration string. I will generate this for them, and then I will rewrite them and replace the original code. And I will stop sharing my screen and sharing my item. I will share how to do this from an example. So this is how a user input their files, and I will use to replace them. And then after the file is not empty, I will load this file and to rewrite and generate the function for them. Load the file is load the AST's every node. AST is a tree. I will loop every node. And according to the loop, I can decide every type. Like this is the general call. This is the usually value. This is a assignment, like a equal to 12. This is a function declaration. This is type expression. This is a function call expression. And here is that I found that the user is using our package. I will generate a code to them. And this one, I will decide which function he is using. For example, we now has reduce, add, map, delete, and find functions. And in this function, I will extract the function's parameters and list of arguments. For example, basically is the basic expression. Function list is a function expression. And ident is the argument declaration. So that I can record every function type, argument type, and variable types. So that I can reuse these types, reuse this to generate a parameter type declaration in the function and compose them into a function call. That's all. And I don't know how to share my items, so I cannot show the results and how can you generate it to you. But there are the dots in the GitHub page showing how can I do this. So let's return to the AST, and that's all. Thank you. You can ask me questions. And here is the BetterGo GitHub project. And if you are interested, you can join the Telegram group. Its name is BetterGo. Thank you.